Let's see. I'm going to do a check real quick to see that you can hear me. Come on, Facebook. Are we good? Good.
Friday.
Yes, there I am. You can hear me. Okay, so on with the show. Today is Friday the 17th. So let's see. I think, what are we having here? That's the last, this should be the last Friday. Let's see. We have next Friday, and then in 2 weeks, it'll be the 1st of October. Wow. Stats will be interesting because of the way the months is falling. So what's going on? Well, we're trending downward on the days of inventory. We're down to 22. So my sad face is because we only listed 32 yesterday. We put 32 under contract and we closed 72. So that's why our inventory is going down. We only listed 10 homes under 400,000. And because we sold some of the ones that we had listed, we only have 573 homes that are under 400,000. I should say 400,000 and under. And that might have a lot to do with our activities. You know, people don't want to list their homes if they don't have a place to go, right? So I'm thinking, well, the median price is 400. It seems the sweet spot's between 400 and maybe 600-700. And I think that there's a lot of listings out there that are in that price range. So the median price that people are buying, which people are listing, so people can buy, very generic, basic. So I'm thinking that perhaps there's more people out there that want to list their homes. You just have to get in touch with them and make sure that then you can find something for them, which is probably going to be easier if they're above 400,000 because there's more listings that are in the higher price ranges. So you got to think about the strategy and logic of how you're doing your business right now and how you're going to do it for the next, let's see, 17 months, 18 months, 17 months, 16 months, 12, October, November, December, 15 months. Yeah. So we have been talking, I'm going to segue quickly today. I have got to wrap it up at as close to 9:30 as possible. So I'm going to put this down and I'm going to talk to you for just a minute. Let's see. We've been talking about social media. So we were at the half point, and then yesterday we talked about Instagram and getting your profile, getting you set up. So today my plan was to dive a little deeper into Instagram and show you how you can set up your bio so it really looks cool. And there's not enough time for me to do that. So what I'm going to do is this weekend, I'm going to do a video on how to do that. And maybe make it 2 parts. So so it's easy for you all. It's very important that you set it up properly. And there's a lot, like I said the other day, there's a lot that goes into Instagram. It's not as intuitive as YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. So I'm going to show you how you make a killer bio or a killer makeover if you already have one. And I will do that in a video. So today I thought, well, okay, we're midway. What are we going to talk about? And I thought, let's talk about strategy. Let's talk about strategy because it's one thing to have goals, but once you have your goals, then you need strategies so you can implement the strategies to achieve your goals. So you need a strategy in place so that your goals for your social media, when you get to the end of the year, for instance, that you reach the right goals because you've done the right strategies. So I have found a video to watch, and it was easier for us to watch it than for me to create a PowerPoint today. If you have any idea, I have had a very busy week, and that's a good thing. And for the first time in, I can never tell you when, I am taking out a buyer. Of course, now Tracy's going with me, but we're taking out a buyer that I got from, I walk every morning, right? You know that. So on my walk in my neighborhood, one of our neighbors said, Ruth, would you like to sell my sister a home, or my wife's sister a home? I said, well, of course. So anyway, Tracy and I are going to take my friend, his wife, and his sister, her sister from Louisiana, and look at homes today and tomorrow. And I'm a little bit panicked because I haven't done this forever, although I do know the people, so that makes it a little bit better. And I'll enjoy meeting the sister from Louisiana. I'm from Georgia, so I'm already thinking of, conversation. Anyway, so this week has been a bit hectic for me. I've had some classes. I've had some other things going on. So that's what. Let me be quiet. I'll hush. Hush, Ruth. Hush, 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 hush. Okay. Did y'all see Diane in her, hi, Frank, good morning. You know how it is when this has been a really busy week, busy month, taxes, all kinds of things going on. All right, so I'm going to hide this and I'm going to put this up here. Now, this is, if you don't know Tom Ferry, you need to know him. That's just a suggestion. I love Brian Buffini. I love Tom Ferry. They both have different ways of approaching our business, and I think that's good. I take things from Tom, I take things from Brian, and it's all sweet. So this is Tom Ferry having a conversation with his social media guru, and her name is Courtney. And I thought their subject was strategy. So I thought, what a great day, what a great way to end this week. And then next week, we'll dive a little deeper, because there's a lot of things in here that she's saying that are going to help you if you're going to increase your reach, your engagement on Facebook and or on Instagram. So let's get started. Hopefully I'll do a check to make sure it works. I think I'm just going to put myself down in the corner, maybe down here, so I can see if we can do this. We'll try, right? So I'm going to do this, and we're going to just start playing it and see if it'll play, or if I have to do solo. So if it doesn't take off right away, then I'll come back and do it solo. But let's see.
I'm 5'2".
All right.
My license is 5'2".
People growing their base. I know every person listening right now or watching wants to do a better job connecting with people, growing their base, and ultimately, let's just call it just expanding their trust amongst the people that are on their phone, on all these different apps. So we did a mastermind a couple weeks ago. We had over 2 days, about 45, 50 people in the room between the two events.
2 days, yeah.
They were all these mega successful rock star team leaders, and every one of them's like, Tom, I want what you got. I need Courtney. Like that's the secret, right? That's how I'm going to grow my reach and become like social famous.
Yeah.
And we know that's actually not the case.
Not true.
I'd love for you just to break down for us some of the things you shared with that group, so everybody in our world can get some insight from you on how do they touch more people via social.
Yeah. I think the first thing is having a strategy. That's like the main overarching concept, is that you need to have a strategy, a plan in place of like what your goals are for your social, what your goals are at the end of a quarter, at the end of a year, and what you're reaching for. The main goal, right? Of like, is it following?
I would say, give us an example.
Yeah. Like, is it following? Is it engagements? Do you just want to get your name out there? Like, what is your real goal? I know a lot of people are driven by like the followers. That's what you think. But if you have, let's say, 2,000 followers and you're getting great engagement, is that not enough?
Right.
Like these people are.
And you can buy followers. Like
you
see
can.
these people that buy followers, and you're like, then you go in and you're like, okay, you have all these people, like, and everyone comments, but like they have, most of those followers have like one person that they're actually following, and it's that person. Yeah. Like, it's a little funky. So I think followers, I would take off. I would go with engagements.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't just engagements, what else would you look for? I mean, could somebody be as bold as to say, quarter over quarter, I would like to sell 4 houses from Instagram, 4 houses from Facebook. Could you go that deep?
Yeah, but the main thing is setting up that goal, right? Is like, what is the goal of social for you? Right. Are you on it just because everyone else is on it? You should have some sort of strategy in place as to why you are on social. Is it to touch more people? Is it to sell more homes? Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I think that's where...
Please don't have it be just so you can post your listings to placate your sellers, because nobody ever comments or likes or does. Like, I look at these pages of people, just agents with just listing after listing after listing and nothing else.
No. Well, think about it. Put yourself in the seller's shoes or the buyer's shoes, whatever. When I go to your page, you already sold that house. Why do I need to look at it?
Right.
You know, like, you want to see what they're doing day to day. You want to see what they're into, their interest. Like, that's when you start to build.
All right. You're going into the action. So step one is strategy, have a goal.
Yeah.
What's step number 2?
Well, I can go a little further into the strategy
Go.
because a strategy isn't just the goal. That's not just one thing. It's putting in place, like, how often are you posting? What channels are you posting on? Do you have a geo-tagging strategy of every 4 posts we're tagging Orange County, every 5 posts we're tagging Los Angeles? Do you have a hashtag strategy?
Right.
You know, so we have different blocks of hashtags. If my post is about travel, I use these 3 blocks. If my post is about this, you need to really map out everything so you can track it.
Can an individual agent do this?
I think so. It's one of those things where you can always have outreach, right? You can get help for this.
Yeah.
Social media is huge now. Huge.
Yes.
Like, I didn't go to school for social media. I think a lot of people think that it's like a degree that you get, like, social media management. Like, it's not. It's something that you learn. It's a task that you over time.
It's an art.
Exactly.
It's a skill.
Yeah. And I think that there are a lot of people that are interested in it, that are in school and have figured out, okay, I can't get a degree in social media, but I need to get a degree because my parents want me to get one, you know, that a lot of people are willing to an internship or they want to have a chance, you know, and if you can ask someone, hey, can you put together a strategy for me? I'd like to see what it looks like. Like, then from there you can have help.
Yeah. I think it's actually important for the agent listening to say, these are my goals. 'Cause I remember, Jim Marks, who passed away a couple years ago, he, in like 2008, he was like, hey, you should get on Facebook. Right? And I was like, okay, good. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because everybody's there. And even like in 2008, not everybody was there. But like, we knew eventually everybody would be there. So he's like, well, what's your goal? And I'm like, I want 100,000 followers. And he actually like just laid into me. He was like, he's like, that's stupid. It's not about the number of followers. It is only about engagement. So the person listening right now, you may say, like to your point earlier, I want way more people, right? That will come with time. If your content is good and you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing and you follow all the hacks, you'll win. But I really think it is about engagement. So when you went from engagement, you went right to frequency, channels, geotagging, hashtag strategy, because all those things are going to help me engage with more people. So break down frequency. How often? Let's just say they're just going to do Facebook and Instagram, because I can technically do that from one app. What's the frequency you recommend, and what are the buckets of content you recommend? So
when you're starting to come up with, I guess, your strategy around frequency, you need to have some sort of like content bucket so that you're not every day trying to figure out what type of content to come up with.
Right.
Like, let's say a bucket is mindset. So content that falls around mindset. So it could be quote cards that are about mindset. It could be a video of you talking about mindset. Like, so when you're going to create content, you know, okay, I don't have enough mindset bucket content.
Right.
I need XYZ content. Like, I recommend having at least 5 buckets of content. It could be mindset, shows, day in the life, behind the scenes. And so when you're creating that frequency of content, I would think of 2 to 3 posts within those buckets, you know, a week. And in terms of frequency.
So actually, I'm gonna interrupt. You don't be well enough. I interrupt all the time.
No.
I'm thinking for the agent listening right now, if they did behind the scenes, they did around town, they did day in the life, which is like, this is what my life actually looks like, not what you see on $1 Million Listing, but like, this is me at 11:30 at night.
The good, the bad,
like
right?
writing offers and like working on my business. Setting up their marketing. But the thing I think most of them miss is there should be something like, what in your life is deeply important to you? And it could be like Harley Davidson motorcycles. It could be yoga, like whatever it is. what I think a lot of people miss is they're trying to be glamorous on Instagram. They're trying to be like, look at me versus like, this is me. Like we talked about it before, like me coming out of the gym with my hat on backwards, in the car on a Saturday doing a rant. Oftentimes are the best posts because it's like, this is me in real life. I'm not in a suit. I'm just being me.
Exactly. And a good example too is like when you see someone in person versus when you've seen them online.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you see a celebrity or online and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so great. You meet them in person and they're an asshole, like, so it's like you want to be your authentic self on both ends of the spectrum. If you have this persona online and if someone runs into you while you're getting coffee and you're having a bad day, they're like, oh, normal.
Right.
They're not like, oh, they're usually very nice.
Yeah.
Like, why are they like this?
Yeah.
Like you need to be yourself. And that's what attracts the followers.
Right.
It's not everything else that you think it would be.
No.
They come.
Right.
Well,
they become, it's like attracts like.
Exactly.
Right. Now the key is, again, I go back for the person listening or watching is you got to figure out like just who you are and be that instead of like, you see these people that try and create this sort of facade of who they are, right? Like, hey, we see all these like Instagrams, me with a Lamborghini, me with a jet that I just walked up to that there's no MX. Like, it's like, it's so phony, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you have a Vizsla dog, then walk your dog, right? If you have 16 cats, I'm making fun of her right now.
Don't.
Right, all right, 38 cats. If you have 38 cats, you should just be surrounded by all your cats, right? Like, be yourself because people with cats like people with cats. People with Vizsla dogs like people with Vizsla dogs. And that's okay. It's okay if it's just, I live in Irvine Terrace, right? So all of a sudden I'm the hyper-local mayor of Irvine Terrace as a real estate agent. So I'm at the Irvine Terrace Park. I'm walking the streets. People see me there and they're like, oh, he's one of us in this community.
Yep.
But then how do I turn that into a structured plan?
Well, so that you just came up with buckets of content, right? You just came up with your dog, your family life, whatever. That's another piece of content. So in terms of your question of also frequency of posting, the best way to put it is like put yourself in a follower's shoes or a user's shoes. How often would you like to see content from them? If I'm following you, I kind of want to see content every day of like what you're up to, right? If you post maybe 2 times a week, you fall short with what I'm looking for. And also the algorithm too is going to be like, this person doesn't really care about social media. So why am I going to serve their posts? So with followers, let's say you have 2,000 followers, you're posting every day, the algorithm's going to serve your post to those 2,000 followers, which then the engagement comes, then the following comes, So it's more of, I would post every day of what you're doing, even if it's on your stories, 10 stories of like, hey, this is me working out. Okay, now I'm in my car. Now I'm doing this. Like, stories do count as posts.
Big time. It's the ultimate behind the scenes. It's what makes shows like $1 Million Listings so successful when you see agents doing the same thing. Like we have clients like, here's me roller skating. Like, all right, okay, you're human.
And on Facebook, you can do stories as well. Facebook, Twitter has stories now. LinkedIn has stories. It's like, it's one of those things where you need to put the effort into it. Because that's when you see the return. Even if like you have posts and you're like, oh my gosh, that has 2 likes. Like how embarrassing. Keep it up because you never know. In 3 weeks, in a month, that post could go viral and it could pick up. So it's like, don't ever delete things because you're embarrassed.
Right.
Just put it all out there.
And the thing I would say too for the person listening is like I used to talk about, hey, you need to hit the live button, right? On Facebook, the live button live, right? Like going live. People are like, well, what if there's only like, 13 people on there? I'm like, you're talking to 13 people. Who cares? And then I'd say, and then leave it up. And all of a sudden it's the end of the week and it's got 350 views. And people are like, it only had 350 views. And I'm like, excuse me, how much time would it take you to knock on the door, to call 350 people and share what you shared in that video? That would take like weeks, if not months for people. And you did it in 14 seconds.
Exactly.
Right? So it's not even about like how many. It's the fact that you touched a few. And as long as the message was right for them, that's awesome.
Exactly.
So frequency, content buckets. Frequency sounds like at least 1 time a day.
I would,
but it maybe twice.
I would post like a feed post a day. And then in your stories, I'd post like 5 to 10 stories
Easy.
a day.
Easy.
Because the stories are easy. I mean, taking a picture of you in the car,
Yes.
taking it like
Yes.
the feed posts, I understand because some people are a little more cautious of like the feed aesthetic and what it looks like and all of that stuff. So
Right.
if you are like that, then take time to plan out your feed posts. But in terms of your stories, just be, oh gosh.
Stories.
Exactly.
Sorry, I was actually doing a story as we were talking there.
Yeah.
But that's the point. Like, it's just stopping and just doing it. It's acknowledging, like, I'm in my car, I'm going someplace, stop, boom.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm pulling up Starbucks, boom. Hey, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, I got a listing appointment at 5, I'm having Starbucks, bang.
Yeah, people want to see
Right?
that.
Exactly.
And I know some people are a little bit cautious of like, well, I don't want the person to know I'm there at that specific time. Like,
Sure.
then you can just take it and upload it later.
Exactly.
You know?
Here's my entire day in one, bing, 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 post,
Exactly.
post, post. Okay, let's talk about geotagging. Because that sounds advanced for some people. What is geotagging?
Geotagging is tagging the location.
Okay.
Yeah. Pretty much that's it. I know geotagging though is like a really hot.
How do they do it?
What do you mean? How do they do
How
it?
do they do it?
You just type add location, you just type in a location.
Okay.
I will
There's
say,
someone right now that's literally writing it down. Type, hit location, type. Like, come on, that's the teacher in me. I can't help it.
The one thing geotagging is kind of controversial,
Why?
especially with like cuz I camp a lot and geotagging, a lot of people don't want others like in that location, that specific spot or like camping area because they don't treat it with proper care. Like people are going to these locations
Yeah.
and like leaving trash and leaving all this stuff. So like a lot of campers and like they hate geotagging. They're like, that kind of stuff is a secret, like they don't want you to tag the exact location.
Right.
So sometimes like with housing, they don't want you to tag their exact address, right? So just
Sure.
tag a general
Yeah, the community.
Yeah.
Right.
Orange County when you actually live in Mission Viejo or,
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
because some people are very,
Especially some of these campers that are
Like
tired
privacy.
of you and your husband making a mess.
it's like a privacy thing,
I have to have a conversation with Miles about his messiness in these places. That sounded very personal, just for the record. Okay, hashtag strategy. You shared the waterfall hashtag strategy at that mastermind, and I watched people taking notes like crazy.
Yeah.
First of all, maybe give the person that doesn't really understand why hashtagging is so important, like why is it important, and then maybe share the strategy.
Yeah, hashtagging is important because it's another avenue for people to see your post. A lot of people hashtag because when you click on the hashtag, it'll send you to that. I mean, all posts that are under that hashtag, and it could be something of interest to you.
Yep.
So a lot of people should be using multiple hashtags, not just like one or two hashtags, because you want to be able to spread your post across multiple hashtags, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
How much time are people searching for hashtags?
I do all the time.
Okay.
To be honest, like if I'm going to a new restaurant or if I'm going to a new location, I'm that
Yeah.
type of person that likes to like know before I
Right.
go there. And so I'd look at hashtags to see what it's like. Or if I'm going to a new location, like let's say I'm going to Mammoth, I'd look up hashtag Mammoth and I could see recent posts of like,
Right.
okay, the weather says it's
Super curious about that. Like I know I search hashtags, right?
Yeah.
And then searching hashtags are X.